Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jen Marples Show. Today, I have a gorgeous guest, and you might know her. She goes by Stung by Samantha on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and she is a bona fide midlife over 50 for real influencer. We have got an influencer on the show today, and Samantha's fabulous. So she is as fabulous in person as she is on the interwebs. So when I talk about authenticity and showing up as yourself, my guest today shows up as herself. She is as bubbly and cute and lovely and amazing online as she is in person. And so, lucky me, we're both in San Francisco, so I get to see her at places and events. So I know I'm blessed in that regard, but you guys are all going to fall in love with her today. And you're all going to follow her. And the one thing I love about Samantha is that she hustles like nobody's business and she cranks out like amazing content. And we're going to talk about really what it takes to be a midlife influencer today. So just thank you so much for being here, Samantha. I mean, you are like, you give us all hope. Over 50, hot stuff, like telling it like it is, but also I can tell you care so much, and all the content that you put out about beauty and lifestyle and just your love of San Francisco, just so we can all live better lives. So with that whole preamble, welcome to the show, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm super excited.
I had to like do extra makeup today and try to do my hair because you always look so cute.
You look beautiful. You look beautiful.
And total sidebar, because Samantha is an influencer, and there is a thing, and I'm going to link this in the show notes. What was that hair eyeshadow thing that I bought that I can't remember the name of right now?
Me Cosmetics.
Me Cosmetics. So what happens in midlife, a lot of us are like losing our hair, or we get these weird receding hairline things happening. And she was talking about it one day. I was like, oh my God, I need that. So I've been religiously using it now for a month, and I can't imagine my life without it.
It's the best. It's when you can see your scalp because your hair is thinning so much. And especially in San Francisco where the wind blows and you get the dreaded like part in the back, you can put the Me Cosmetics powder to kind of cover up the scalp showing, and it makes your hair look fuller and thicker. So it's the best. I love it. Recommend it for everybody. It's waterproof too.
And it's waterproof. So like I have it on, I go to yoga, it doesn't come off. And yeah, it's just one of those, the indignities of midlife. I mean, there's all the positives, but you're like, wait a minute. 1 minute you look in the mirror and you're like, I kind of have some bald spots around my face. Like, what in the actual hell? So thank you for
Yes.
bringing that to my world, because it is totally game changing. And I can't tell you how many people I've recommended it to, because it's like a thing. Like this is like a thing. So let's
Absolutely.
dig into this. Let's dig into, actually, before we get into all the influencing and everything that you do, I want to understand, because I don't actually know this, we haven't talked about it, how you got into it to begin with. Like, what was your career before and what led you into influence? Because you've been doing this a long time. You're a pretty long time influencer, and you've got a great rabid following, and you have awesome brand things that you're doing. You're going to tell us all about it, but how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I think I've kind of always been an influencer in my mind since I was little. And then in my 20s, I was like that person that if you wanted to go shopping, you would call Samantha. I would go with you. If I would do all my friends' makeup. And then when I got into my 30s, I would make everybody work out with me. I'd say, come on, do a workout with me. And they're like, do I have to? I'm like, yeah, come on, I'm gonna show you how to do some ab moves. So I just loved it. Naturally, I want to share everything with anybody who will listen, anyone who shows any interest. So I think it's always come very naturally to me. And even when I was little, like I remember in second grade, I would look in the mirror and do my hair and pretend that I was actually talking to the mirror as an audience and showing them how to do my hair. And that was like second grade. I mean, I really remember this. So I think it's always been a thing. And then it didn't actually become real until I separated from my ex partner. And I was like, my daughter was 50-50. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like my whole life kind of flipped upside down. I had 5 days by myself with no child, and I was freaked out. I felt like I had completely lost everything. And the only thing that gave me comfort is watching YouTube videos on makeup and hair, right? I always wanted to do it, but finally I was given this time. And there's one great thing about being a single mom or having 50-50 custody is that you get all this free time that you've never had before. And when you're in a relationship, sometimes, well, it was for me, I put all the energy into the man. He got all the energy, the man and the daughter, and there was nothing kind of left for me. So when I had all this time, I was like, you know what? This is the opportunity. Like the universe is telling me, do this dream, get a camera, turn it on, do your first YouTube video, do the thing that you love the most. And that's kind of how it really started. And I think if you talk to any influencer, there's always kind of like this deep story behind it, like what really made it come to life. And that was my story.
I love it. I had never known that. And that's so funny because, back in the day, like there was nothing when we were in second grade, we're about the same age. There was no influencing. There was no nothing. But that's so fun that you were like pretending to do that on camera all those like decades ago. And then here you are now. And this is like your livelihood and you're sharing so much valuable information with everyone. I love this story. And I think to go on a little tangent, before we get into the nitty gritties of influencing, you brought up something that I think is really important for women to hear. And I just want to underscore it, that there can be a lot of sadness that comes with midlife. And that I know there's a lot of women who are divorced that are listening to this, and, or they're shipping their babies off to college, or like the last baby's about to leave. And women are just sort of like, whoa, now what? Yeah. Like I've got all this time. So it could be a career shift. Like I don't need to be doing X anymore. I can do Y. Or a lot of women, like you said, focusing on the kids, focusing on the home, focusing on everything. And there's this slow losing of yourself. And you're like, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah. Well, we're such caretakers, we care for everybody else. Like I was always making sure his life was happening and daughter's life was happening. And I was just like the scraps. I was like the leftovers, And so my blessing was that now I got this time to be alone, and I got to really, those 5 days, it was all about me. I don't even remember. It had been like 20 years since I had just totally focused on myself. So it was kind of a blessing for me, and it turned into this incredible career. This is like the best thing. This is the most proud I've been of anything, other than, of course, having my daughter, being a mom, but it's the most proud I could be of anything I've done in my life.
I want everyone to really like listen to that and let that sink in, because these are two women in their 50s talking. And I feel the exact same way about what I'm doing now. I've never been more energized and more excited and more on fire and ready to freaking dominate and take over the world, but all in the service of helping women. And you're doing the same thing. And if anyone could take one little bit today, it's like, you're not too fucking old and you matter and you get to do the thing that makes you happy. Because guess what? Like by you actually saying yes to yourself, because everyone's got that. I've had a lot of other guests on here that have had us try to figure out what our why. We all know deep down inside when we listen, there's something there. And that something there has translated into a thriving business for you. So I just love this. I'm so happy that you shared that. Oh my God.
I'm so glad that I followed that intuition, that dream. It's been a dream forever, but I'm so happy that I actually went for it, just dove in, terrified, all of it, just absolutely mortified, terrified to think about what my friends would think about me, my family, my coworker. I mean, it took a lot of courage, but I'm so grateful I did it. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Let's dig into that just a little bit. Because I'm going to ask you super deep and dirty questions about like the day in the life of an influencer and all that. But it's that beginning piece. It's that overcoming the fear and having courage. And we talk a lot about that on this show, because that is the thing that kills the dreams. It's the fear and the what people are going to think and all of that. And you and I both know, once you take that step, you take another step, all of a sudden you're like, why was I even caring about all those people? Because they're not even who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to those people. So what would be your biggest piece of advice to women listening right now who are sitting on a dream? Because I know even if women are in business right now, there might be something they want to pursue even more, add something, or I know that there are women listening who are contemplating career changes and they have something. I know all you beautiful ladies listening, you have something deep down inside you want to birth.
Yeah.
What would you say to
Yeah.
them?
I mean, I would say you have to just go for it. You can't sit around and plan, okay, next year I'm going to buy a camera. And then next year I'm going to learn how to do YouTube, or next year I'm going to get a business plan. You just can't. And if you do that, you probably won't ever do it. So you just have to dive in. And I remember the first time I made my first YouTube video was so bad. Actually, I had to take it offline. It was so bad. I mean, it's just the lighting is just trash, right? But when I hit that publish, like I was shaking. And I just had to do it. I didn't tell anybody. The only person I told is my mom. I told nobody, not my best friends, nobody, because I didn't want to hear what they had to say. I don't want them to judge me, but really you just have to go for it. Dive right into the deep end. That's my best advice.
I love that. And you brought up a good point of like, if you're overthinking it, you're going to sit on that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens in 5 years? And you're not sitting on your dream. That just makes my heart hurt. And I'm actually one of them. I sat on the podcast dream for years until finally it was like, okay, like, what am I going to die if I start a podcast? No, but it is scary when you hear yourself first, or you press play, you show up on Instagram, whatever it is that you do for the first time. It's terrifying, but you got to
Mm-hmm.
go do it because everything you want is on that
Yeah.
on the other
Yeah.
side of that, right?
Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone. So when I created my YouTube channel, I didn't tell anyone. I went, live on it and was up in public for 6 months. And then after 6 months, nobody knew. It was all secret, living in secret. I put an email out to all my friends and I said, I've created a channel. This has been a dream of mine for years. And I linked it up, and I kind of just, God came out of the closet. And, but I will say that I have more support from my followers than I do from friends and family. And that's just part of this game that everybody has to learn. And it's pretty harsh, but it's the reality. People sometimes, friends and family, don't want you to succeed. They want you to stay in your space. They don't want to see you go for your dreams. And that was really hard for me to have to handle and acknowledge, especially from some really close friends.
I am so glad you brought that up because we have talked about that on the show, but it bears repeating time and time again. So there's two things here. You have to release all the expectations of the people around you and assume that everyone loves you, but they can't handle for multitudes of reasons. And there's deep sort of therapy around this, but your family, they know you as one way, and it's kind of rattling to the family dynamic if you start showing up another way. I mean, I hear that story time and time again. Certainly it was real for me. And then the people that are closest to you, and it's all based in, it has nothing to do with us, right? It's just other people in your realm who aren't pursuing something. So it's triggering. So it's
Mm-hmm.
triggering for you to be out there and be shiny and fabulous, because that means it's triggering for somebody else to see a friend or an old colleague do that, because people, they want to do that. And we've probably all had
Yeah.
those feelings about other people way back when. So that is something very real. And we could have a whole podcast
Yeah.
episode just dedicated to that.
Yeah, it's a little shocking, because these were the people I thought who loved me, supported me, always seemed that they wanted to be on my side. But then as soon as I started this, it was kind of like, what happened? Like no mention of it. They don't even mention that I do this. It's so interesting. Very interesting.
Same. And so I just look at it now as like, okay, I just take a break from everything I'm doing.
Mhm.
Let's just talk about with the kids or the weather or whatever.
Let's not talk about what I do 95% of my life, because obviously you guys don't want to hear about it. So let's just talk about the things that you want to hear about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then your other point was that and this is so in relation to the last guest I had on talking about storytelling and how you show up as your authentic self, all those people that are going to come to you are going to be your people. So you're saying you've gotten the biggest support in the interaction, and that's actually what you want. And those women are going to be in your world. They're going to be thanking you for the hair shadow, for the bald spots on your head, and
Yeah.
thanking you for like the great fashion tips and all of that. And those are the people we want. So we really have to focus on those people. our people, like our communities
Yeah.
and all that we're building. And just with love, kind of just say everyone's at their own place and journey. They're never going to ask me about it. They're never going to talk about it. And really, truly, it will be the people closest to you, like your mother, your
Yeah.
sister,
Yeah.
and you just don't talk about it. Like, hey, I just did this thing. You just kind of let it go. You're like, all right, you kind of bless and release it all. And don't let it take away your happiness and joy, and focus on the people that are showing up and are
That's
communicating with
right.
you. And you're helping Sally with a fashion crisis, or whatever it is. You've given her inspiration to do something, or by us talking today, somebody listening right now might have take a little bit of courage and go do the thing. Go
Oh
do
yeah,
the
I would
damn
love
thing.
that. Do it.
So
Do
I
it.
love it. Woohoo. All
Yeah.
right. So let's get into the nitty gritty of what does it take to be an influencer, and what does it really
Hmm.
look like? Because I think everyone, it looks easy, right? Everyone, you make it look easy. And I know it's not. When I see your stories and there's like 1,000 of them, and you're like out there and you're so thoughtful and you talk about the people that you're with, and there's so much work. So I know it's hard work. So what does it really take to do it?
Hmm.
And how do you find success doing it? How do you be an influencer?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think the first thing is you never get a break. It's like starting any new business. It's going to be constant 24/7, especially with influencers. And myself, I'm a lifestyle influencer. So everything I do, people want to see. So they want to see when I wake up. They're going to want to see what I eat in the morning. So I could film that if I wanted. They're going to want to see what I'm wearing that afternoon. They're going to want to see where I went on a walk in San Francisco because I do fitness content. So it can be nonstop. I really have to cut myself off, and I'm practicing trying to take a break on a Sunday, but it's every day, 24/7. We're always online. There's so many platforms. There's TikTok. I have to do a reel every day. I have to do maybe 2 reels a day, and then I have to edit those reels. A YouTube video, it will take 20 hours just to shoot, plan, edit, upload. 20 hours. That's if I do one a week. Just that right there is going to eat up all the time. I'm on my phone all the way until I like pass out, because then I need to catch up on all the other creators, what they're doing, what's trending, what's hip. Then Instagram is constantly changing what it needs. So I think when people see me, all they see is, oh, you get a lot of free product. I get that the most. Oh wow, you just got a bunch of free product. I'm like, oh no, that is not how it works. I just worked for years and years and years and years to get that free product. And that product really is not free because that brand wants me to post about it. So that's not free. So it's a ton of work. I think when my friends just see me doing a reel and just seeing me just tagging and the research alone, it just takes so long. People don't understand it. It looks very glamorous. And, part of it is very glamorous, but the majority is us with our readers on, like hunched over, editing all day long. And then, there's a whole business side of it, which is contacting brands all the time, cold calling, cold DMing, emailing, deals, brand deals. So it's a lot of work, but I mean, I love it. But yeah, it's 24/7. With social media, there is no break. You don't get to sleep. Sometimes a brand will miss that I tag them, and they're like, "Oh, you tagged me in something," and then a story only stays up for 24 hours, and they'll say, "You tagged me in something. Can you repost it?" I go, "No, because social media doesn't go to sleep. You should have been up when I tagged you." Because that's how it is. Like we don't sleep. It's 24/7. And I think that's what people don't understand.
So how can, women listening, I'm thinking of a few people out there who are trying to do some things. How do you like, is there a secret sauce? Is there a method, or is it really does it just take years to build up a profile? Because I know, there's micro influencers, right? You have a big following. And now I'm hearing about micro influencers. So women with like just, maybe under 5,000, but they have a very
Mm-hmm.
specific niche target market. And of course, in the whole midlife over 50 space, now that's becoming really big. Like actually people are paying attention to us. But
Mm-hmm.
like what's like if someone's just kind of starting out, like, and they're going to go and look at your numbers and look at other people's numbers and go, oh my God, is like, how long is it going to take? Are there sort of exceptions to the rule, or like what would someone do to start?
Yeah. So I would just say start. The sooner you start, the better. Start yesterday. You should have started yesterday. The sooner you start, the better, because then you can have the experience. Because I do think being in front of the camera, any type of influencing job, you have to get the experience behind you. And that takes time. That takes getting in front of the camera. Like if you're an artist, they say you have 1,000 bad drawings in you. You got to get those out. So get in front of the camera, start talking, like get better at it. You just have to practice. So I would say dive in. And yeah, it takes years. It's like any business, you have to build the experience. But I do think you can make an influence with a small following, under 5. You don't need to have a big following to make an influence and be a successful influencer.
Now, how do most influencers make money? So
Yeah.
you've got, I know there, I'm going to let you answer it, but like, cause you see a bunch of different things. Of course, you see there's unboxing, there's this, there's that, there's Amazon stores. So if you could walk everybody through kind of like the top
Yeah.
ways that people actually make money influencing, that would be fabulous.
Right. So it depends what type of influencer you are. Do you want to be a content creator? Do you want to be an influencer? An influencer is more like you're not a celebrity esque, but you're showing your face, you're the brand, whereas a creator is maybe talking more about a product. So you want to think about it like that. Which one do you want to be? So when I first started, I would definitely say I was more of an influencer. So I was getting a lot of money through brand deals. So a brand would come up to you and say, "Hey, Samantha, we really love you. Will you talk about this product?" And then you negotiate a contract. And that used to be big money. And I'm talking pre-pandemic when influencers made a lot of money. Nowadays, it's really kind of done a 180. It's changed a lot. It's a lot harder for influencers to get those brand deals, and we're dealing more with making money through affiliate links, Amazon. YouTube is great for Google AdSense. It's a great way to get money coming in all the time by creating videos. But yeah, the days of the big brand deals are not really happening anymore.
Go into affiliates a little bit because there's probably a lot of people listening who don't know what that is. So I know like in fashion, women have the like to know it, sort of they're tagging their
Right,
fashion that way. I see some women with Amazon stores or Amazon
right.
shops. So can you explain how that all works?
Yeah. So if a brand that I really liked that I was working with, they would say to me, "Hey, would you like to become an affiliate?" And I would say, "I would love it." And then they would create a unique link that I would use. I would sign up on their website, which could be Share a Sale, it could be Rakuten. There's many different big named affiliate marketing companies. And they would either give me a percentage of the sale. So that could be really low, it could be 5%, 3%, we don't want those, or up to 10 or 15%. And then I would always ask for a unique discount code like SAM20 for 20% off to kind of drive business in, and also to give my followers a reason to actually buy that product from me, or they could just buy it from the store. And then, the more product that you sell, you get a commission based on that.
Um, Interesting about the well, first of all, about how you used to make more money and then not anymore. Cause I know you and I had this conversation at a party, we were talking about it. Um, and then it's something that came up to me. This was the question I was just thinking about of do you have to kind of be, because you have a lot of different things that you sort of talk about. And I know you're kind of like H&M and Zara, but like,
Mm-hmm.
style and fashion brands can kind of run the gamut. Do women have to really kind of focus in on sort of one person, or is it possible to kind of go from high to low and kind of do everything in between as you sort of have your brand partnerships and these links and affiliate links and
Yeah. I mean,
things in place?
everybody says to niche down, even I'm doing too much because I'm lifestyle, and everyone's always like, "No, Samantha, just do one thing. Like if you're going to do beauty, just do beauty." The audience tends to like someone who just sticks to one thing, but I don't like that for myself. I really enjoy having beauty and fashion and fitness and lifestyle. So for me, it works, but I would say to niche down, like get right into that one thing. So if it's just fashion, just focus on fashion. I like that I'm doing everything because I get bored. If I'm just doing beauty constantly, I'm like so tired. I can't see one more foundation. I can't look at one more bronzer. So recently I started getting more into fashion just to like shake it up. So I love that I have a broader range of things that I can talk about and shoot and edit because I do get bored.
How do and that's great advice because I think at the end of the day we have to really like what we do, right? And if you get bored, it's going to start showing, like you're saying. I got to talk about lipstick again. By the time you get to that 25th lipstick, you're like, I just really don't give a shit anymore. I've got to go on a walk and show San
Exactly.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. What was the question I was going to ask you? Uh, it'll come back to me because it was a really good question. Um, as far as the money making thing, like, let's be real.
Mhm.
So if we're just to break it down and someone's like, this is what I want to do, I've got to put in this time and effort. How is this amount of money that women could sustain themselves on? Is this something that they need to probably start doing on the side while they're maybe having a full-time job or another part-time job? Like, what's kind of the
Yeah.
reality of being able to support yourself as an
Yeah.
influencer?
Well, yeah, I would say it's a side hustle, and you got a side hustle. I mean, it takes a lot to be a full-time influencer. You would then need a team behind you, as you have. You can't do it by yourself. Just like starting any small business. You may want to get an agent, but then they're going to take 20% off the top. And then what are you left with? So yeah, it's a side hustle, and it's a working 24/7 all the time. And it's difficult to be full time. It would be really, really difficult, but you can get there. But I think start with a side hustle.
Because I do, that's really great advice. Because I think everyone's probably laboring under the, I can just start showing up and then I'll be doing bring in deals and I'll have, affiliate
Oh,
links. And
please.
depending what you're selling, I mean, there's a couple people that, we see that they're growing and growing. And then that, okay, then now there's a team. So there's so much work sort of behind the scenes to pump out the content, and you create
Right.
so much content. And I'm glad. I also wanted to talk about the fact that everyone thinks that it's easy and it's so glamorous.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, I guess it's just a nice reminder for everyone to remember, like, you're seeing 10 minutes of like 100 hours worth of work.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And we love to show up as the glamour side. Last night, I was at an event in San Francisco eating lobster, and oysters, and I posted it online, and that was part of the gig. It's amazing, but they don't see, like, the bags under the eyes all night, laying in bed, or when you have a deadline from a brand. That's terrifying, because you'll submit content and they'll say, we don't like it, reshoot it, and then you're like, oh, what, in one day? You also have a life. I'm a mother. I have other things that I need to do. But yeah, but I will say it is so worth it. It is so worth it. All those sleepless nights, it's worth it. But you
Well,
have to be passionate. You're not going to survive if you're not 100% love it, passionate. You can't survive, and I don't think in any business really if you're not completely passionate about what you do.
I hear a lot about just influencer burnout. I hear burnout, period, even for someone who's not would put themselves in the bucket of influencing. I think everyone has influence no matter what you do. But there's the people, I put me in this bucket of like, I'm here and it's for business and I'm doing other things and we're all an influencer, but I get burned out and I don't create nearly the volume of content you do, but I'm not in the same sort of business. Like, I don't consider myself an influencer. Um, but I hear burnout all the time. So no matter what anybody's doing. So how do you
Mhm.
manage that? Because you're saying it's 24/7. And if you're to like, do you take a vacation? Are you
I
allowed?
haven't taken a vacation. I don't even take a vacation because I'm going to England this summer, but it won't be vacationing because my followers want to see me in England. They're super, super stoked to see me in England, and they're going to want to see, what are you going to see in London? Every moment is a moment to film, and that's where you have to cut yourself off. Like, are you going to be in the moment and enjoy that dinner, or are you going to get the perfect photo, or are you going to get the content? And you're constantly struggling. That's why people like having somebody with them, or photographer, if you could afford to do that. I can't, who can do all that for you so you can actually enjoy. But even then, if a camera's on you, are you really enjoying? Are you in the moment? It's a balancing act. But as far as like getting burnt out, I love it so much. I've been doing this now for almost 10 years. I love it. When I wake up, it's almost like if I don't get some content out, I'm not happy. I love it. I think it's a little strange, but I love it. Like, I love makeup, I love fashion, I love fitness. I could eat and sleep for the rest of my life. That's all I could talk about. I love it. So you do have to be very, very passionate. So yeah, I get burned out, but I wouldn't have it any other way because I love it that much.
I love that you said that. And I think that kind of probably goes for everything that we're doing, right? Like you've got, especially in midlife, and I've said this again, that if I didn't love what I'm doing right now with a passion, because it's a shit ton more work. Like I could just decide that I wanted to work with women and kind of be quiet about it. But, I want to impact more women and there's big things I want to do and go speak on stages and all that. So I know the steps I need to take. And it's what I work with clients on too, of like, what are your end goals? And you do have to show up, but it's managing your time, managing like what you're actually capable of. Because for you, you're living, breathing it, just enveloping it, and you're like, it's your air mask actually to do it, which I think is so amazing. I'd put me maybe in the middle. Like I love doing it probably more than most. And I'm like you, like, I just think social media in general, like I'm an evangelist for it because I see only the positive of like, it brought me to you. It brings me to so many wonderful people. I've met so many amazing, incredible women because of all of this. And I think that's incredible. But just everyone has to kind of manage and temper sort of what they're doing and like being in the moment, like you said. So it's, if you are doing something, then cutting yourself off maybe to then, okay, content piece is done and now I'm enjoying my life.
I will say though that there a lot of thing that pulls me to do the content is the reward, and the reward, I'm sure you get this all the time, is the emails that I get. You've changed my life. How could I change their life? But that's what women are telling me. You changed my life. You got me to work out. You got me to change the way I look, do my hair. I've been in the slump. I've had the kindest emails, letters, DMs that I've ever received by anybody in my entire life from countless women over the last 10 years that keeps me doing this. I have a folder on my phone where I keep all those messages on the days that I'm burnt out, on the days that I'm like, I'm quitting this shit. I'm done with it. I'm exhausted. What am I even doing? I pull out that list and I read those emails and I read those DMs and I'm like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because these women that I'm helping somebody. And that's what keeps us going, right?
I am so glad you said that because literally Patrice, who was on a previous podcast, said the exact same thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
She said she keeps a folder because all of us, all the entrepreneurs listening, solopreneurs, you're all listening to this show. Every day you want to like quit.
Yep.
Like
I'm
I
done.
could just go do something and just nobody knows me. I'll just go file insurance
Yep.
claims and I don't have to show up, and I could whatever. But but you wake up and you look, or God winks and you all of a sudden somebody like sends you a DM, you get a message on LinkedIn like, this podcast changed my life, or this, I'm doing something because of something you said, and you're like, oh, this is it. I need to start a folder. I have like I have things everywhere, but I need to have it like the Jen do not quit file. Everybody listening, do it. Put the, so-and-so do not quit file on your desktop. So, it keeps you going, because even when it's glamorous and even if it's fun, it's still work. Like it still takes a lot of time, and, life gets in the way. Our kids get in the way. I'm not going to say get in the way, and for the right reasons, because they're in our lives. There's just a lot going on. So I'm so glad you said that. Oh my God.
And you question yourself, like, does it really matter about fashion? And for me, beauty, does it really matter? What are you doing? I question myself all the time, but then I get these DMs and then I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So everybody start a folder for sure.
Say something too, because I work with women in all different industries, and all different types of women listen to the show. We should never second guess what we're doing and what we're fired up for, and think like, because you just said it, like, oh, does makeup really matter? It matters, and you care, and you're going at it because you want to help spread the light. And if someone feels better about themselves because of something you did and shared, then they're going to attack their life or whatever they're tackling in a different way. Right. So that's not, I mean, we have to just give ourselves more credit for everything that we're putting out into the world, because I think everyone's like, if I'm not a rocket scientist and I'm not like a CEO at Google or something, does anything I do matter? And it all matters. Everything that we do matters. So I want everyone listening and you too, Samantha, like, just don't second guess, like, who cares? I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and you've got great intentions. We all have great intentions. We want to help and we want to serve. So we just have to get over that, because I think we've all been taught that it's like, oh, hair and makeup, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, please. course it does. I'm
Right.
looking at myself right now and I feel better about myself because I actually did something versus if I if I just rolled out of
Exactly.
bed, I wouldn't feel the
Exactly.
same
That
way.
that transformation of when I do my friends' makeup or I take them shopping and I put them in an outfit, like they'll come out of the dressing room literally as another person. The how you feel when you feel beautiful can change your whole mood, change the way your posture is, how you talk, how you stand, how you act, how you feel. So it is so important. It's so much more than just beauty and makeup and fashion.
It's so much more. It is always so much more. Sidebar, I did a photo shoot um, with a client not too long ago who's going through a lot of stuff. And she did the hair and makeup, a stylist helped her. And she was like looking at herself, kind of when everything's stacked against her. And she's like, I'm launching this business, but there's a lot of stuff happening. And I could see that transformation. And it's so important. And
Yeah.
she showed up and, I got tears in my eyes. I said, look at you, like, look at you, like you can do this. And all these pieces were put together, to help her shine, like beautiful clothes, beautiful hair, beautiful makeup. And I think for a lot of us too, we're kind of segueing into the midlife realm of when,
Mm,
it's harder. There's just a lot, there's a lot
yeah.
going on. We've got kids at home, we're divorced, maybe someone's died. I'm sending a kid off to
Elderly
school.
parents.
My mom just had a heart attack 2 months ago. My
Oh
dad
my
was sick all
gosh.
last year. She's fine. But
Okay.
we have a lot of stuff, right? It's not our 20s
Hmm.
and 30s where we're footloose and fancy free and all of our belongings fit
Yeah.
inside a car. And, the stakes, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, like the stakes are higher now,
Oh yeah.
we're caring for a lot of people. And so
Absolutely.
any little bit that helps us live our life better, it helps us be more successful in business, it helps us feel better about ourselves, the better. Bring it on.
Bring
Bring
it
it on.
on.
Bring it on, and let's all align around each other. I want to see you like on a TV show or something. I'm just going to put that out into the universe to
I
producers
have been asked
listening.
to do, I have been approached quite a few times about doing TV. I know I come
Do
across as
tell.
very comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm also extremely nervous and shy. It's kind of stopped me from from becoming more successful because of that. But I have been approached. I don't know if I would ever do TV, although I was editing some of my reels yesterday. I did a collab with a fitness trainer here in San Francisco, and I was cracking myself up watching. I go, I am kind of funny on this. Maybe I should consider that. But again, then you always second guess yourself, like what we were talking about before. Like, could I do that? Am I comfortable doing that? Would I be any good at it? Would I suck?
Well, the answer is no, because you have a huge following. You're already doing it, but it's hard to step out of ourselves. I know that to visualize yourself kind of out there. Like we stop ourselves, like, who am I to do that? Like, okay, if you've gotten some success, like, dare I ask for more? And that's a
Who do
comment.
I think I am?
Yep.
I've said that to myself hundreds of times throughout this career. Who do you think you are that you're going to be an influencer? Like, who do you think you are? And I kind of have to self-talk. It's okay. You're good enough. You can do this. Everybody else, she's doing it. So if she's doing it, why can't you do it? They're
Exactly.
doing it, so why can't you? And I'm always talking to myself, calming myself down, self-talk all day to get me to continue on with my dream. This is my dream.
I am so glad you said that, because the thing that popped up for me, my listeners know I've been saying this phrase this year. It's like, I'm too fucking fabulous for this shit. And it
Ah,
really means, what that really means is, for whatever's kind of keeping you down and not going for it, it's like, I'm just too fabulous. I'm just too fabulous. Like, you're too fabulous to not be on TV. I'm too fabulous to not follow my dreams and give my TED talk someday. Like, why the fuck not? And
yeah,
that is the whole
yeah,
reason for what I'm doing. It's like, you're not too fucking old. Like, why the fuck not? Sorry, you're getting me
yeah,
fired up now, because I
yeah.
know
You're
women,
getting me fired up.
because we talk ourselves down and off, and
We
like,
do.
why not? Yeah, it should be like, why not me? And you don't need 1,000 qualifications and degrees, and you don't need to have been in Hollywood or whatever. Like, you can just go do the thing. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's why you're listening to
Yeah,
this podcast. That's why you're going to follow
yeah.
Samantha,
Uh,
because you've just got to do it. And I was going to say to everyone, and you just said it, so now I can reiterate it, that Samantha was nervous to be on the show. And you would never think so, because she's out there all day, literally every day with the content, with her face out there. And so everyone gets the jitters. Everyone gets nervous about stuff. And so I think that's really great that you said that, because we default going, oh, it's so easy for her, or, oh, she's got it dialed in. No, ma'am.
Oh no. No, 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 no. I
No,
did
ma'am.
no. I'm nervous right now. Right now. I'm like, keep it cool, Samantha. Keep breathing. You can do this. I'm always nervous. Every time that camera comes on, I'm nervous. I'm nervous when I do an event. I push through and I'm terrified all the time, but I want this so bad that I just can't let my fears get in the way of my dream. I can't, and I'm not going to. So thank you for having me today so I can push through a fear, which is podcasts. It's a fear.
Here's the pullout quote for this episode. I can't let my fears get in the way of my
Yeah,
dreams. That's the
absolutely.
only thing you all took away today. That just gave me chills, because it's the truth. If you really think about what's burning, it's always going to be our fear that keeps us from doing the thing. You were at that event I spoke at, and like the number one
Hmm.
question when we were talking about women stepping to the spotlight and doing all the stuff like we're talking about today, the number one question was fear, how to overcome fear. And
Fear's a
so
killer. Yeah.
it's a
It's a real
killer.
killer of all dreams. It's a killer of everything. I mean, I have so many women always say to me, well, you can do that, Samantha, but we can't. And you can wear red lipstick, you can wear the outfit. That would look really terrible on me. And I hear that all the time. That's my big pet peeve when other women say, I can do it, but they can't. I'm like, well, why? Why can't you? And then they say, well, I'm just not, I don't know. They just put themselves down. So yeah, that I hear a lot, and that needs to change. That shift of they can do it, she can do it, but I can't do it.
I know. And that's hopefully why everyone's following you and listening to the podcast, because and every time I go out and do something, or if there's a win, it's like I'm just showing you, you're showing your people, like if I can do it, you can do it. And it
Yeah.
doesn't
Like
come
why
easy.
Yeah, why can't you wear red lipstick, which was my number one question. And I get so many comments. We can't wear red lipstick and we can't wear hats. I don't know why it's like red lipstick and hats. Women just say we can't do it. And I was like, well, why can't you? I had someone, I was wearing like a platform kind of like a loafer on a reel that I did yesterday. And my friend, who I've known forever, she's like, I wish I could wear those. And I'm like, well, you can. Oh, I could never put on a that wouldn't look right on me. No, you can. The only thing is I put it on and you didn't. That's the only difference.
Right. You throw in it's bikini, it's high-waisted jeans, it's like long hair after 40, or
Oh yeah. Hmm.
who the fuck is making these rules? Pardon my French. That gets me fired up too, because it's
Yeah.
just, again, it's this, and this is me getting on my, I could go on my rant about like internalized patriarchy of how we keep ourselves down. My listeners have heard me tell this
Yeah.
story, but somebody I knew at yoga was like, had just seen Madonna, and I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to go see Madonna because Madonna's our queen.
Same.
You know, she was the rule
Same.
breaker.
Yes.
Like she was our girl. She was our girl in high school. We wanted to be Madonna. We lapped her up. We
Hmm.
wanted to be her. We were her. Like she's like the anthem of like our whole childhood. And like,
Yeah.
come on.
Absolutely.
And so, and Madonna's like, I want to say Madonna might be like 65. She's in her 60s.
She's exactly 10 years older than me. So I'm 55, she's 65. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I always remembered about Madonna, 10 years older than me.
And look at her. Okay. And so, and please, no one come at me with like, oh, plastic surgery. Like, please, that's again talking about other women. Like, who gives a shit? Like, she's Madonna. We don't talk about Madonna. So
Mm-mm.
this woman was saying, and I think she wasn't even recognizing she was saying this, but she's like, oh, but the concert, she's so sexual. Like, I just don't think we should be that way at like 65. I'm like, well, why the fuck not?
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
patriarchy,
Yeah.
right? That's
Women of a
internalized
certain age
misogyny.
can't, yeah, we can't do anything. Well, we can never win anyway. It doesn't matter what age we are.
Can't
There's
be
always going to be
sexy.
some judgment on us of what women cannot do, dress, act like, say. Oh, it's constantly, we can't do it, we're not allowed to do it. And I hear that all the time from my followers about what they're allowed to do, how I dress, showing too much body, how I speak. There's always judgment.
Right. And they probably don't, maybe some realize it, but I've gotten some of the same stuff too, especially with your not too fucking old. Like, do you have to swear? Like the clutching of the pearls. Like I do, because it's for me, that's a rattling thing. Let's say it has to get us out of the stupor of exactly
Right.
what we're talking about, of playing by these rules that we didn't make. Women didn't make
Yeah.
these rules. And so
Yeah.
when women come out like your makeup or like showing skin, why? Because but you're also modeling what's possible and it's really scary. So I know that from and this comes from reflective self-work and a lot of training. And I did coaching training. Like we all were probably in a judgment zone 10 or 15 years ago, but just having that awareness of understanding if someone comes to you and goes, all the things that they can't do, it's just their own thing. It has nothing to do with you showing your midriff or like, we're not supposed to dim our light. That doesn't help anyone. I always give, what's the Marianne Williamson quote? I give it to like all my clients and I read it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, if we stand in our light, we give people the opportunity to stand in their light, and we're not doing anybody any good by tamping ourselves down.
That's right.
So
I
you
will
have
say,
a mission.
yeah, I will say that there is going back to influencing, there is a lot of hate that comes in. So you do have to build a little bit of a tough skin. You'll get some people saying some really, really crazy negative things on the regular, and you have to learn how to shake off the haters. I mean, just yesterday I posted a video, and just some random woman who doesn't follow me, has no profile pic, is like, "You're too skinny," just like, "You're too skinny. When's the last time you ate?" Just straight up mean comments all the time. And you just have to, I mean, depending on my mood, I was a little feisty yesterday. So I came back, I snapped back. Usually I either block or delete or just ignore. But yeah, I mean, it gets to me. It gets to me, that little comment, even though I get hundreds of lovely, beautiful, kind comments at one, it got to me.
It does get to you. And we all know it's coming from a place where she's probably unhappy, because unhappy people say mean things to people on the internet. Because so you can kind of understand that. But I have sort of slapped back at people too, but just under the guise of this is a women supporting women environment, and to come at anybody saying you're too fat or too thin, anything about our appearance is not okay.
No, it's like, I'm just certain there's something else you could be doing with your day.
Yeah. So you bless and release, knowing like that person's like in pain. But yeah, when it happens, and I know you have so many people that are in your realm that it's like a common occurrence, and you just have to let that block, delete, like, God bless and release, get the help that you need. Because and really, it's truly, it's a reflection on those people. So you have to have a little bit of a thick skin and know that person's not your person, and you just keep going. But you're like, thanks for the engagement. And hopefully my post will get boosted now for that extra piece of, for that extra piece of engagement.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Oh my God, it's so amazing talking to you. I want to ask one fun question before we wrap up. Because you are in the midst of everything style related, beauty related, fashion, all this stuff. What are some fun things right now that we should be aware of? We've already talked about like the thing for the hair. So specifically for our midlife ladies, like let's start with beauty, like makeup. Are there like one or two products right now that you're like, we all have to have them, we can't live without them?
Well, I don't like recommending one particular product because of the price range. Some are very high end and some people don't have the budget for that. So I think more about just the actual makeup product itself. Like for me, bronzer, I think especially in menopause, we get a little dry skin, we look a little sallow. So bronzer to just, like you came back from vacation, a little bronzer on the cheek. My mom's 84. She loves her bronzer. She's like, "Samantha, what's that stuff called that I put on my cheeks?" I'm like, "Bronzer, it's bronzer." It just gives you the look like you just came back from Hawaii. And that's what I would recommend for everybody. A little bronzer makes so much difference. Doesn't matter if you got it at Walgreens or you got it at Sephora. A bronzer I would highly recommend. And then, well, could I go into skincare a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So in menopause, especially, you get the dry skin. So we want to exfoliate. That could be a chemical or physical exfoliator. Physical would be, remember like St. Ives, we used to use it back when we were in our 20s. It was like the apricot scrub. So we don't want to use that anymore, but we want to use a finely milled exfoliant. And, again, you can get it at Target. You can get one at Target, or you can do high end. So I don't want budget to get in the way of exfoliating your skin. And then a really great moisturizer, maybe hyaluronic acid, because after 50, we'll want glowy skin. We want the dewy, glowy skin. So those things, I mean, if you want, it's hard for me to pick a few. I could literally talk about makeup for the next 24 hours with you, and skincare and fashion. So you got to cut me off. So I'm going to start slow. Let me know if I can say anything else because I get so excited. So I'm breathing it through.
Okay, so we've got bronzer, which I love. I've never without a bronzer. It's the Hawaii girl in me. God forbid I look pale. I
Right?
love the moisturizer. What about makeup?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I've been experimenting too, like, and my sisters have come at me like, you shouldn't wear so much eyeliner, but I was used to wearing eyeliner, but then I understand like as we get older, like maybe we
Hmm.
don't want to do eyeliner. It makes us
Oh,
like probably less is
yeah.
more for eyes.
Yes. Well, this is what I'm just going to say about women of a certain age. They do tend to get stuck in a decade that they were really hot in. So they were like hot in the 80s. So they're going to rock that same style, or hot in the 90s. And they stay in that decade. And I see this all the time. And that, I think, is just aging. Well, I don't even like to say anything's aging, but it just dates you. It dates you. Okay. So especially with makeup, if you were used to wearing the really heavy like liner, with the Maybelline with a lighter that we used to use, and put it in the waterline. Remember that? Like we were all doing that in middle school. And also like clothes, like people get really stuck in a rut from a decade. So I would say, go into Sephora, see what's going on, see what people are doing out there, and go into Zara, see what the fashion is, and then kind of like see what your style is. Just get out there and see what's happening in today's world, and get out of your rut of that decade that you felt really hot in. And eyeliner, I mean, I see it all the time, and I'm like, oh, he's like trying to like modernize. Get out there. It's fine to modernize.
I
It'll
love that.
make you
So
feel better.
yeah, so well, you bring up a good point too, because we're probably used to doing certain things a certain way. And I'm pushing myself out of the zone. You're helping me do it. I bought a couple of those bodysuits I told you that you were talking about. The
Oh,
high-waisted jeans
yes.
with the fun jackets. This is
Yes.
like an OT. It's my
Yes.
little H&M jacket I'm wearing on here that you shove up the sleeves and it's
Yeah. Zhoosh.
boxy and cute. You
Zhoosh.
zhuzh. Um, I also have a sister who's a stylist who's always like sending me stuff. She's like, Jen, come on. Like, no. I'm like, okay. But it's like people don't say I look bad, but she just knows that was my look San Francisco circa 2003.
I see. You're okay. Okay. So you're in 2003.
I'm in the San Francisco. I have a million jeans and a million jackets because it was never summer, right? So I never had like even a summer wardrobe unless I was going home to Hawaii type thing. So it's
Wow.
25 pairs of jeans, 30 freaking jackets. I don't
Yeah,
have
I love
dress.
that. But jeans and jackets, they will always be it. They will always make you look. You just need to modernize a little thing, like maybe the accessories with them. I don't expect people to go out and buy clothes. I go into Zara, I see what's going on right now, what's the trend, and then I go home and I shop my closet. And I dupe it, and it's not going to be perfect. Like pearls are really in right now. You go to Zara, there's like pearls everywhere. So we all have pearls, so I pull out the pearls because now I can pull out the pearls this season, right? So I dupe whatever. I see what they have. Oh, gold is in. I'm seeing a lot of diamonds. I'm seeing brooches are back. Okay, I have brooches. I'm just going to go into the vault and pull out all the brooches. So that's what I do. I didn't spend a penny. And I highly recommend that people do that with makeup and fashion, especially. Yeah. Don't have
Ooh,
to buy anything.
I love that because we do have things that we hang on to because I am a big purger, but you're just reminding me like we all have the costume jewelry that what comes out all comes back in. Like there's
Bring it
turquoise here,
out.
there's pearls there. I have a million pearls. You're just giving me some ideas. I love it.
And bring out your brooches and put them on your blazer. The blazers that you have, put a big brooch on that. That is all 2024. You're going to see it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
So we've done skin, we've done a little bit of makeup, we've done clothes. What about hair?
Yeah, but I just want to go back on eyeliner because you were
Yeah.
talking about the eyeliner, and eyeliner is a love. Like people love their eyeliner. So rather than putting it on the bottom waterline, as we get older, our eyes kind of droop down. So always on the outer V, just focus the eyeliner on the outer V on the upper eyelid. And that's just kind of lift. I mean, I do that every single day. It's only on the upper V, and it just kind of brings my eyes naturally are downturned anyway, but I do that. And it just kind of gives an illusion that they're lifted. So I really never put a lower eyeliner on because I don't want my eyes to look like they're drooping down. Always up. Think always up.
Always up. I love that. And you have beautiful eyeliner. I'm gonna have to like watch would have to have my girls help me in the bathroom to do the upper. Yeah, because you kind of default and you're like, because things kind of we all go down. We do want to lift back up.
Everything up, everything up.
Lifting up. So as we're lifting up, can we still, I have long hair. I've tried to go shorter and it doesn't really look, I've always had long hair since I was young and I've tried it. It's really not me. It looks weird.
Same. Yeah. Yep.
So are there certain hairstyles that are like tried and true? Your hair looks gorgeous right now. You guys can all watch this. You'll see the clips on social media and you'll see this on YouTube.
Right. But my hair, and maybe yours has, but most menopausal women will lose 20 to 30% of their hair. And that is really, I think, everything that's happened to me in menopause, hot flashes, low libido, all that, whatever, the hair, that is what hurt me the most. Like I would do anything to have my hair back that I had just 8 years ago. The fullness, the thickness, just it's a struggle. So to get this hairstyle that you're looking at right now, it might look cute, but there is many things that had to happen. I have to use special shampoos, clarifying shampoos to get all the oil out, because any little bit of oil is going to flatten my fine, thin menopausal hair. So I use clarifying shampoos. I double wash my hair. And I know that, I don't know if you do that too, but you can't just wash it once. You wash it once, it's still not clean. Wash it a second time. It's going to use more shampoo, but if you have fine, thin menopausal hair, the best way to give it some life and volume is to double wash to get all that grease out so it can look as full as possible. And then dry shampoo is your best friend, especially with thin menopausal hair. Dry shampoo to add some volume, thickening sprays. And then other than that, you don't want to put too much product. You know how there's always like creams and blowout creams. I would say stay away from that because it's just going to drag your hair down. So less product and heat protectant, because we're using the iron. We're using the iron to make the curls. So heat protectant spray is a must.
Those are such great tips. And it's so funny. I was talking to one of my dear, dear, dear girlfriends yesterday, and she's like, oh, something beeped. She's like, oh, that was my hair thing, my infrared hair helmets or something she had put on.
I have that. I have that.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you what it is. Because her hair, like from menopause, like it's falling out.
Oh, so hard.
And she's like, kind of switched some shampoos to like whatever, and this and that, and supplements and the whole 9 yards. So we had we went on 20 minutes.
You have to do them all. I would say I'd recommend Nutrafol. It's a supplement. Nutrafol is the best. And they have a 50 plus for women specifically in menopause. So you want to get that one. They sell it at Sephora. And then you definitely want to get either some kind of laser light for your hair. I use the Hair Max and I use it every other day. I also, minoxidil, it's a must. It's a must. It's really the only thing that's proven to grow hair is minoxidil. So Nioxin, Rogaine. And then of course there's the ones for women. I use it. My hair is my thing. I cannot lose my hair. I can't. I love my hair too much. I love hairstyles too much. So for me, I do all the things, and it's quite a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. I'm glad we talked about it. It's funny. I have this weird thing where I have tons of hair, but mine is like receding in certain spots where I'm like, I have like bald spots like around my hair. Also, I have to stop. I was doing like my tight, I digress. I do a tight yoga bun. I've done that for like 20 years.
But I love a tight yoga bun.
I love a tight yoga bun, but it has to come down. My hair can't be in it all day. So I've like literally pulled the hair out of my head. We could talk about that forever.
Yes.
At least there's really a couple tips for everyone there to like, go off and running and do a couple of these different things, especially going into summer, the bronzer. So 2 final questions for you. What do you think the best thing is about being in midlife?
So many great things, but the one that always comes up is I really don't care anymore. I just don't care what you have to say, what you're going to say about how I look, dress, act, or what I love. Like, I just don't care. It is so freeing. It is the best. I think we spend our entire life thinking about what she's going to say, what he's going to say, what the Joneses are doing. And this gift that we're given after menopause, it's such a gift. And it's universal. All menopausal women are like, we don't give a fuck anymore. We are going to do it and we don't care. My daughter's always like, Mom. And I'm like, what? Hey, I don't care. I'm doing it. I don't care. This is my life. I finally got here. I'm finally comfortable and I'm going to go for it.
I think it's great as a total sidebar, and I love to give no fucks because it's the truth. That we're doing all this and being very public as our teens are in this tender teen phase when they are
Oh,
just they're living and dying by what other people are thinking about them. So I have to hope that by watching us, women in their 50s with thriving businesses and putting it all on the line in service of others and not giving a shit and powering through, like no one's going to tell us that we can't do this. I'm hoping it's having that effect on them. I try to
oh
always
yeah.
do learning lessons when I have a gaggle full of teen girls in the car. They're like, Mom, I'm like, sorry, I just have to give a life lesson real quick. And then you can continue talking about the music that you like and, put on Taylor Swift or whatever, but just a little thing about how to approach something differently. But
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully,
at the end of the day, we're their role models.
yeah.
And this is a great reason for a woman to kind of go for something that she's afraid of, because your daughter, your same sex child, is looking up at you and they're going to be like you. They just are. We are like our parents, unless we work really, really hard and years of therapy to not be. Our mothers really, I mean, I have this incredible mom. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I could have done any of this. She's so cool. But I remind women, be that person. You're that role model. So go for it. What's going to give you motivation to start the business, your role model. People are watching you. People are looking at you. So yeah, that really gave me the motivation to work harder every day, that knowing that one day when I'm not here, my daughter can still watch my YouTube videos. How cool is that?
Oh my God, you're going to make me
I'll be
cry.
gone, but she's going to be like, well, I need my mom's advice. And she'll be able to watch my YouTube video.
And they're going to stand the test of time because women's
Mm-hmm.
empowerment and showing up and doing it, it's not trendy. It's not trendy.
No.
These are life lessons. You made me think of one little thing that I have to mention, that when we were talking about having fear and, who am I to do this? What if our kid came to us and was like, oh, I want to go dance in the thing, or I want to go star in the play, or I want to go, be in the math club or whatever the hell it is. And we're like, no, just stay down here and be here where it's safe and don't pursue your dreams. I mean, that breaks our heart. No mom would do that. So we have to do
No.
that. We have to say that to ourselves.
Yeah. We have to be the mom for ourselves.
Yeah. That's our other big takeaway. Y'all thought we were just talking about influencing today, but we got real philosophical. I
Oh
told
my
Samantha when we were
gosh.
prepping because she was so nervous. I'm like, it's just going to go where it's going to go. It's two girlfriends talking. And I know we're going to have this great conversation. See, and you showed up and look at this amazing conversation.
Oh
So
yeah.
my final thing is not a question. It's a statement, darling. Everybody answers it. I'm not too
Okay.
fucking old too.
I'm not too fucking old to wear whatever the hell I want. I just can't stand people telling me how I'm supposed to look. So yeah, that or act, you know.
Boom, exclamation point. Like we're done. We're done. We're done. All right. So tell everybody where they can find you, stalk you, and
Oh,
get all
please
your
come
fabulous
stalk
content.
me. Come stalk me on Stung by Samantha on Instagram, Stung by Samantha on TikTok, which I love and obsess over. Hope it doesn't shut down. Fingers crossed. YouTube, if you want some more content, I do full workout videos on YouTube. And of course, I'm on Threads, I'm on Facebook, but it's really Instagram and TikTok and YouTube that are my three loves. So please come stalk me there. I'm there every day.
Awesome. I'm so glad we did this. I'm so glad
I
we
am
made
too.
this happen. This
I'm
has
so
been
glad
so
I
fun.
said yes. I said and
You said
I'm
yes.
so happy.
So everybody take that away. Say yes to yourselves and show up and do the damn thing, because guess what? You're fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, my love.